We call it people technology.
Well, the IPL turns 40. Sunrisers Hyderabad and the Rajasthan Royals in action in just under half an hour from now in Dubai. They don't find themselves in happy places on the points table. Hyderabad are out of it, and the Rajasthan Royals should have started in seventh, but for the heavy defeat for the Mumbai Indians, they have been propelled for six without doing much. So that's where they stand. The only two teams that play the 10 Suzuki presents ESPN 20 timeout. Aakash Chopra, time to welcome you for the first time in the second leg, Aakash, as well as Dale Steyn. We've got Aakash in because we know there's going to be a lot of work today. He does all the hard work for us. There are going to be at least 7 or 8 changes today, Aakash. So we thought, who better than you to take us through changes? All set?
I'm set. I'm looking forward to seeing Sunrise Hyderabad doing something different. Now they've started with I don't know how many changes, half a dozen changes or more, maybe.
Yeah, lots of changes, and we'll come to that. But Dale, this is an interesting place for a franchise to be in. They're out of it. All they can do now is spoil the party for someone else.
That's what the guys will be talking about over breakfast. I'm not going to lie. Once you know that you're kind of gone and you're out of the tournament, you're kind of rubbing your hands together. You're like, okay, whose party are we going to destroy this IPL? And that's the situation that Sunrisers sit in right now. But there's a lot of good players in that team, and we've spoken about it before. That there's a big auction coming up next year. There's a lot of guys that want to have a little opportunity, a little crack, so that they can prove to everybody that they are as good as what they think they are or say they are, so that they can get a gig next year, either continue with the Sunrisers or potentially with another team. So there's still a lot at stake for the Sunrisers, their management staff, as well as the players.
I'm very curious to see who's out. We know some news from Kane Williamson as to who's in, and the ESPN Weekend for Ball by Ball will also have you covered on that. The big one is Jason Roy coming in for David Warner. But let me come to the Sunrisers in a bit once we have all those changes. Rajasthan Royals make a few changes of their own. They had left out Chris Morris and Evan Lewis in the last game. Sanju Samson saying they were unavailable for selection, whatever that means. Back they come now. Aakash, you think that makes it a stronger team, especially with how Evan Lewis started in the first game of the restart?
Yes, it does, and it's a surprise, isn't it? Like, what exactly is happening? So since the COVID era started, people access to the teams has reduced radically, and teams have chosen not to tell anything to anyone. So they are withholding a lot of information with regards to the status of their players. Unavailability after just a game, 2 days later you're available. You do ask questions. What exactly is happening? Is there a niggle? Is there an injury? What, like, have you gotten off the wrong side of the bed? What exactly is it? You really want to know. But so not just about you and me or Dale. The fact is there is full like an army of fans that is just waiting to hear. They deserve to know, and withholding information. Firstly, I've got this grouse, so I'll just get this out of the way. But then Chris Morris and Evan Lewis. Yes, it does make a huge difference because Chris Morris, when you bought him for 16 crore, there are only 14 games. That's crore and plus per game. You expect him to play. He's done well in the first half. You expected him to hit the ground running once again because you're still in with a sniff. You look at Evan Lewis, brilliant at the CPL, started really well at Dubai the last time they played, didn't play in the Abu Dhabi game. Now he comes back in and it looks a better side because David Miller, for all the great things that he's done in the past in the IPL, last 3 seasons have been very underwhelming. So Evan Lewis is the right replacement. I would like to have another look at the team that you've just put out. Because if there are any more changes, because 2 guys come in, is it as simple as just taking out Tabriz Shamsi? Yes, I think just
there's one more. There's one more change. That's Jaydev Unatkar comes in for an injured Karthik Tyagi. I wonder how big that is. 3 left arm seamers that you have.
I wonder. Just allow me just 30 more seconds. What happened to Shivam Dubey, man? Riyan Parag has done nothing, next to nothing. Bowls with a very strange action 1 over. Why not Shivam Dubey? He can bat. He's played for India. You bought him for 4.5 crore. What is he doing on the benches? I've got no idea.
Yeah, absolutely. He spent some time at RCB as well, Dale. You know a little bit about Shivam Dubey, and that's the other change they have to contend with is Karthik Tyagi, who effectively won them 2 points on his own the other day against Punjab.
Yeah, I was going to raise that same points. Just Riyan Parag hasn't really done anything. There's nothing that I can kind of remember other than some fancy celebrations really for him. So Kumar Sangakkara, he must see something in this youngster that he hasn't shown yet. So let's let him run. If I love Kumar and I trust Kumar with my entire life of many few people that I do. So if he sees something in this young man, I'm going to let it be. But Shivam Dube is a great player. He's sitting on the sidelines there, and he's probably chomping at the bit. He was a big part of RCB last year, especially their plans. He didn't really come to as well as he'd like to, but he's there. His availability is right there. I must say I feel a little bit sorry for David Miller. He hasn't obviously done much in the last couple of seasons, but he is the kind of guy that kind of comes in as a replacement for somebody else. You have to kind of hit the ground running, and if you don't, and you have a couple low scores, you're kind of out. He's in and out. It is a little bit difficult. Chris Morris's exclusion from the last game was a surprise. I didn't understand that, and we want to know why. Like Aakash was saying, we do want to know why this guy's being paid a lot of money, and when he's not playing a game, kind of question why. But he is back today. It looks a good team. I like Livingston. I like Evan Lewis. Let's see what they've got for us today.
I love how the transition of Dale Steyn, the player to broadcasters, happened so quickly and so smoothly, because he's now speaking our language, Aakash, which is, we want to know why. That gives us something to go by. We can then add to our shows. When they were players, and Dale was a player, 12 months back or 6 months back. And that time it was, we're not going to talk to the press. We're all part of the sort of the huddle.
I think it's
injuries. Yes, Mr. Steyn.
I think it's anti-corruption if I messaged Chris Morris and I asked him what's going on and I told people what it was. I'm just avoiding that at all costs right now.
Poor Deepak Huda has also gone into trouble by just putting
team's
a picture
responsibility. No, Ronak, Dale, the fact is it is responsibility of the team management to inform the people. And with the COVID times, restricted access, that much you can do for your fans. They need to know. If there is an injury, if there is a niggle, okay, it rules you out for just a game, 2 days. You're at a knife's edge. Your campaign is at a knife's edge. So yes, from the fans' perspective, it's quite disheartening that nobody's actually revealing anything these days.
Yeah, not to mention all us fantasy lovers. What do we do about that? I know we can see the entire team in just those 30 minutes between toss and first ball. But anyway, that's just the times we live in. Let's hope once things open up that the press gets more access, the journalists get more access, or at least the team puts out more information. But that is the Rajasthan Royals team. One thing though, since we're discussing the Riyan Parag, Shivam Dube situation and all, just put that team back up and we'll see lots of left-handers with the ball. But if you play Shivam Dube, Aakash, are you at all worried about Lomeror, Tewatia and Dube as 3 left-handers, or is that highly overrated these days in T20 cricket? You can't club too many lefties together.
We never spoke the same language for the right-handers. That the team has all right-handers and nobody really creates a fuss. Then you talk about, okay, we should have had one left-hander, just to mix things up. But now when you have left-handers, suddenly you're saying one more left-hander. Why? Oh, yes, there is a Liam Livingston, there is Sanju Samson. You've got a couple of right-handers there. Be happy with them. See, at the end of the day, it's about the quality of the batsmen, the skills, and not left, right, because that is highly overrated. These matchups, I tell you, they're just blown out of proportion. The video analysts are doing a great job, but cricket is still played at the ground and not on the laptop. So left hand, right hand, I don't care. Honestly, you got to, if he is a good enough player, just get him in there. It's all right if it happens to be a left-hander.
All right, fair enough. Let's just show you the fixtures for the Rajasthan Royals. They're still in it, remember. You saw that points table, which has them locked on 8 points with everyone else. But look at the fixtures they've got after today, Dale. This is Hyderabad out of the running, so therefore perhaps a bit dangerous. Bangalore, Chennai, Mumbai and Kolkata, all of whom till that last day could be in contention against them. You think these are 2 points they just cannot drop?
Yeah, this is. I actually put a note down here. They got a game in hand. If they win today, I think they'll bounce up to 4th. This is a game they just cannot afford to lose, especially against a team that hasn't found their feet at all. And from the looks of it, I haven't seen their team just yet, have made multiple changes. So you're coming up against a team that is low on confidence, that's sitting at the bottom of the log. They can beat you. They're a good IPL team. There's some fantastic players. Jason Roy is coming into that team. Jason Holder. There's some Rashid Khan. There's great players in there. But you feel like if you can play the better cricket for 80% of this game, that you should be able to beat Sunrisers. So this is a game that Rajasthan desperately, they need to win it. There's no question about it. If they don't, it's going to be really tough, especially with what they've got coming up.
Absolutely. Now let's talk about the Sunrisers changes. Firstly, I don't know if I mentioned that Rajasthan are batting first. They won the toss, so that's something more to contend with. They want to set up and bat first. They did fall short in the chase against the Delhi Capitals, albeit in an afternoon game last time round at Abu Dhabi. But let's look at the Sunrisers team. And this is something we were expecting at some point. Would it happen immediately once they were out of contention? And it has. Jason Roy for David Warner, who we believe is not even at the ground today from reports that we're getting. And Priyam Garg and Abhishek Sharma play in positions previously occupied by Manish Pandey and Kedar Jadhav, respectively. So that's a conversation we're waiting to have with Aakash and Dale as well. There's an injury concern. Khalil Ahmed is out and Siddharth Kaul is in. Everything else remains the same. I mean, whatever's left remains the same. Let's go to that first conversation. Jason Roy for David Warner, who's not even at the ground. Dale, we had this chat about your former franchise. We may not have seen David Warner again for the Sunrisers had this break not happened and had Johnny Bairstow not withdrawn. Now Jason Roy comes in. So you think that could be it then for David Warner in Sunrisers colours?
Yeah, I would think so. Just looking at where they are on the log right now, they're not going to make it. They want to start giving other guys opportunity. Warner being dropped in the first leg and then coming back and having 2 low scores, taking the captaincy away from him. He's pretty much being treated the same way that any other overseas player will get treated if you don't do well anymore. Like a Miller or anybody else who comes in and doesn't have a good run of scores, you're gone. And unfortunately, the reputation that he's got over the last couple of years of IPL is not keeping him in the side. Sunrisers need to make changes. They're a proud franchise. I've played there before. They want to see their team win. So yeah, unfortunately, Warner's missing out, and Jason Roy's coming in. He's a fantastic batter. And let's hope that he scores some runs because this is why he's there. He wants to go over there and show the world that he can bat. So, yeah, tough one for them, especially with Warner not being there. But Jason Roy can handle the heat.
A lot of conversations, Aakash, will now be had for the Sunrisers with an eye on the next auction and next season. David Warner at 34. This is David Warner we're talking about. He walks into a lot of all-time IPL sides. Does he still hold that value? Could there still have been a case for the franchise to say, it's one bad year, you're still one of our talisman, it's not been good for you, we can hold on? Or do you think now it looks like David Warner's done in the Sunrisers? And if that's the case, is he also done with regards to his position in the IPL? Would he still be a high demand player come the big auction in a few months?
See, I think with 2 teams coming up and whatever Warner has done, he's been absolutely sensational. So when somebody has scored so many runs over the years, one bad season should not. It's not the real reflection, the true reflection of how good he is. One bad season can happen to anyone. They started at Chennai; those pitches were not to his liking. He hasn't hit the ground running here as well. But then, so 2 more teams, he's definitely getting sold. There is no doubt about it. Is Sunrise Hyderabad likely to retain him? No, that's also a given now. But if he has a great World Cup in similar conditions, he's a part of the Australian team, and auction comes in December. Recency bias, you will go with him. Some teams might actually break the bank to get him again because there is one proven pedigree and performance over the years, and then the recent performances in the World Cup that should actually seal the deal. But God forbid if he's had a poor World Cup, he's got a poor IPL, then you'll have to shave off a few crores from the contract that he gets. But is he not likely to get a contract? No way. Somebody's going to pick him up, and there will be more than one franchise that will be interested whenever his name comes up in the auction.
Yeah, I mean, you'd think some of the franchises are shopping for leaders as well, aren't they? Captains could be in demand, or at least potential captain contenders could be in demand. But that's the story for David Warner now, out of this team. Now, the other story is about the 2 Indian batters. Aakash, we were wondering, Kedar Jadhav, Manish Pandey. Manish Pandey is on big money with them. He's been with the franchise for a while. He's 31, so he's young still. He finds himself out of the team. Kedar Jadhav bought just last season. That was a change we were expecting. What do you see in the future for them now? We'll bring up their numbers as well for you. But Manish Pandey and Kedar Jadhav, what are we expecting from this selection that they both been dropped in this game?
start with Manish Pandey. The numbers haven't been great ever. Let's be fair. The strike rate of 125, 123, average is all right. 30s is actually a fairly decent number in T20 cricket, but he's someone who bats at 3 or 4. He's never batted at 5 or 6. So at least his good years, his good innings have never come batting below 4. So his reputation has taken a beating. And it's not just one season. He's been dropped in the past as well by the same franchise for the playing 11. Now it is perhaps the end of it as far as this season is concerned, irrespective of what Priyam Garg and Abhishek Sharma do. I expect someone like VVS Lakshman, Trevor Bayliss to stick with the young guys, now that you're giving opportunities too. So once again, if you're looking a little far ahead, the big auctions, will he get sold? Yes. Will he be on the same money? No way. I think not even half the price, actually. It could be one-fourth the price that he's been picked up at, because if I'm not mistaken, he's at about 12.5 crore. So if that's the kind of money that is demanded for 3 seasons, well, he's in for a pay cut, which will be very radical in nature.
I mean, he's an IPL winner. He's been a man of the match in an IPL final. If you go back a while for it, for the KKR in 2014, Dale, 31 years of age. There's always a demand for Indian batters. But do you think Manish Pandey also is someone who perhaps, this relationship with a particular franchise just hasn't worked for him?
Yeah, sometimes that's just how it is. Same thing with Warner. I think it's just he's done his good years at SRH. He's won trophies for them. He's captained them. He's been phenomenal. Manish Pandey has also done well. But sometimes it's just the management. Maybe I'm not saying that it is. I'm just saying that maybe you just don't see eye to eye. There's a little bit of a disagreement in certain ways and roles, and you're not able to provide the numbers that everyone expects of you. Going to another team, given another role, given a role that you like, who knows? You'll see Manish Pandey maybe have that strike rate go up to 150, which or 145, where we want it to be at. His average could go up. You'll be a happier player. Same thing with Warner. So maybe a change is good for both of these players right now, because I've played alongside both of them. I was there when Manish Pandey scored his first 100 on his debut, I think, for RCB in South Africa when he was a young 18 or 19-year-old. That was a long time ago. So the man has got great skill. Just got to put him into an environment where he can excel.
Kedar Jadhav, Aakash?
End of the road. Unfortunate as it might be, the fact is he's getting along. He's got no weight now to again go and prove or make a case for himself. Overall numbers are not flattering anyway. Now if you look at 6 innings, 55 runs, 13.75 is the average, 105 is the strike rate, and don't even go by cold numbers. The fact is he's there for a reason. When you have somebody as senior as Kedar Jadhav, you expect him to take a bit more responsibility and make yourself counted, because you also know that you are on a bit of a slippery slope, and every innings is extremely important. And if you don't make it count, then the end is nigh. So unfortunate as it might be, I think that might just be the end of the road for Kedar Jadhav.
Yeah, and you think, Dale, when you pick an experienced Indian batter, MS Dhoni let him go from CSK a season back. You think that last game perhaps was your ideal game for him to just take you over the line? He's an experienced player. It's not a very big target. Jason Holder was hitting big guns. That sort of just tells you that even for a specific role, if you pick a 36-year-old Indian batter, he's probably just done now. He's not up for it.
Yeah, I feel for him a little bit, because he is a good batter, but if you're looking at those numbers alone, and you take the name away from it, it doesn't matter. Not many teams are going to be picking you, unfortunately. And the last game was a golden opportunity for him to go out there and prove what he's good at, what he can do, and it just hasn't come for him. So yeah, I feel for him, and being dropped today is probably going to show that it's going to be difficult to get picked up next season. I'm sure he might be, but not as a first choice player anymore.
Bhuvaneshwar Kumar is another interesting conversation to have here. He's someone you think, if there is an Indian player worth retaining in the Sunrisers, you think Bhuvaneshwar's name comes up first. Akash has not been happy hunting for him, though. He made a lovely comeback in Indian colours. We saw him bowl very well in Sri Lanka. It's not quite clicking for him. I'll bring up the numbers also phase-wise for Bhuvi. Went for 34 in the last game, where the average rate was about 6s. And that's what we're looking at. Bhuvi at the death doesn't seem too inspiring. He's not bowled a lot in the middle, and there aren't a lot of wickets at the top.
What's going wrong? Of course, there's something amiss when you see Bhuvneshwar Kumar now. The speed is down. It's quite apparent. And he was never 145 clicks, right? He was mid 130s. Now he's gone down to 120s. That happened in the Sri Lankan tour as well, where he wasn't really being himself. And from an Indian point of view, and not from just the Hyderabad point of view, I'm a little concerned. I'm a little worried because there is Bumrah, Bhuvi, and Shami. There you have only three pacers. Hardik hasn't bowled a single over thus far. So if on a day you need to play, and Bumrah, Bhuvi happens to be the first two choice bowlers in a white ball game. But Bhuvi, the way he's bowling, I think he's third right now, and and begs a question to be asked that what exactly has gone wrong. So in terms of the mechanics of bowling, Dale is a better guy to answer. But
Yeah.
just to touch upon the retention part, I don't think it's a straightforward retention for Bhuvneshwar Kumar as well. Because
Hmm.
first retention is about 15 crore. The numbers will be out soon, but I'm assuming it will be
Yeah.
no less than 15 crore. Second will be about 12.5 crore. So if you were to put Bhuvi back into the auction, will somebody pay that kind of sum for what Bhuvi is doing right now, or the last couple of seasons with the injury issues? I
Hmm.
have my reservations, so I think he might also be going back to the auction. There is only one player that Hyderabad should just hold on to dearly, is
Yeah.
Rashid Khan. Now,
Rashid Khan.
besides
Yeah.
him, I think everybody is uh, can be sent away. It's okay. You can use the RTMs if you want somebody back, but nobody's going to fetch 15 crore in an auction except Rashid Khan.
Okay, let's have both those chats with Dale. Saying firstly about what's the issue with Bhuvi the bowler, and second whether he still would be part of the Sunrisers plans next season. Let's accept Akash's point, and we know that Dale he's lost a little bit of pace. Can you still expect someone like Bhuvneshwar Kumar? You know what skill sets he has to offer to find a way to be more effective. There's something that he can do, to still be effective, even if he's lost a few Ks per hour. And what's the future for him for the Sunrisers?
I do. The only thing that I want to see Boovie do is I want to see him bowl quicker. That's all. When he's operating at 135 kilometers an hour, almost just below 140, 138, I think he's operating at his best. He will rush a batter a little bit quicker, and let his skill set come in. It will be subtle changes. The little in swinger that he bowls, the little away nipper that he bowls, it will move later, and that's pace. But what happens is that when you're in a bit of bad form, you slow down to try and land the ball in the right areas because he doesn't see himself as an express bowler. So he's slowed down to make sure that the ball lands in the right area. But by slowing down, he's literally just dropped himself into a phase of a million other bowlers that can do that job. At bowl at 125. And the batters are waiting. You look at good batters, Rohit Sharma, Virat Kohli, AB de Villiers. If you're bowling 125 to them as your stock ball, they are smiling all day to the bank. So Bhuvi needs to just up his speed another 10 Ks because I know he's got it in him. Whether Sunrisers will retain him, I'm with Aakash. I don't think they're going to retain anybody other than Rashid Khan, and the only other person that they can possibly retain is somebody like a Jason Holder if they want to have some kind of captaincy. Because Jason Holder steps up almost every other game that he's playing for Sunrisers. He's always there doing well. And he's a leader. He's captain West Indies. So there's a possibility that they could say, look, we'll keep you, we'll retain you for a season and maybe take over this team. He is a standout player for them, him and Rashid Khan. So those are the two guys that I'd probably only consider. The rest of them, it's shops open for SRH in the auction.
Yeah, I wonder if if these remaining 4 5 games, five now counting today, is also an opportunity for some of these guys to may put that thought in the management's mind. Abhishek Sharma has been with them a few seasons now. Priyam Garg featured a little last season. The Seamers as well. We've seen Siddharth Kaul be with them. This is an opportunity, you think, Akash, for some of these guys to say, even if Sunrisers don't keep us, these last 4 5 games could possibly dictate what we go for next auction.
Absolutely. Just think about Ruturaj Gaikwad.
Hmm.
Ruturaj Gaikwad, year 2020, started as someone who just couldn't cut it into the CSK team. Come the end of the season, where all hope is lost, he's given an opportunity. He smashes 350s on the bounce, and now he becomes an important player. He's got confidence, he's got runs. This season, again, he starts slowly, but now the management is showing a bit more faith. And here you go, he's your one of the leading run scorers in this season as well, and the future is bright. So you have to believe that if I'm getting these opportunities, these are gold dust actually, because not very often these many youngsters are going to feature in a playing 11 in an IPL game. uh,
Hmm.
it can only happen if you've either qualified completely and a couple of games don't matter, or you're not going anywhere and therefore you've been given opportunities. And
Yeah.
SRH also knows very well, Ronak, that we're not going to hold on to any of these players. It's not as if we're going to use our RTMs and retain them, but you're allowing them to now go express yourself. We believed in you. Here are your opportunities. Make something for yourself. And in the bargain, if our franchise gets benefited, brilliant. We'll at least do something good towards the end of the tournament where everything seems lost. So wonderful opportunities. And then from players' perspective, this is gold dust.
Yeah, you've been part of franchises in the past, Dale. We're out of the tournament, not eligible for the playoffs, and lots of changes come in. Suddenly, these kids come in. They don't actually carry any of that baggage, even though they've been in the dugouts. And suddenly, you feel like you're just playing a different team.
Yeah, like a free team, nothing to lose. You know, the wounded buffalo is the most dangerous animal out there. You know, and that's exactly what Sunrisers are right now. Any team that's going to be playing against them knows that they don't know what they're going to get on the day. They could walk over them, or they could have a team that could be absolutely rampant, regardless of the names on that list. You know, and the other thing about the big auction next year is there's a whole bunch of India's a big place. You know, it's a lot bigger than South Africa and Australia and all these other countries.
We know.
There are thousands of 19-year-old Virat Kohlis that are playing cricket right now that I don't even know of. That there are scouts out there that are looking at these guys for next season. Some of these guys are actually sitting on the benches at Sunrisers right now. They could get a game in the next few days and make a real name for themselves. So teams be careful. It's not going to be a walkover. They should win against Sunrisers because it's a depleted team. But you've got to play your best cricket. You can't just pitch up and think that you're going to win. Not against these guys.
Rajasthan openers are already out there. Evan Lewis is back in this side, which means Liam Livingston will bat at 4. Just before we leave you, Liam Livingston features in a very good list of big hitters. If we ask Cricinfo, something that we have asked in the past, Dale Steyn's seen that. Aakash Chopra, I hope you've been checking Ask Cricinfo out too. Let's just look at who the leading 6 hitters have been of late in T20s. To tell you a story, if we just run through Ask Cricinfo, remember that's what it is. That's the icon you need to go and click. Any stats related T20 query you've got, this will give you the answers. I mean, Aakash Chopra could give you the answers too, but this is if he's not available. If he's not available, then Ask Cricinfo. Glenn Phillips at number 1, also part of this franchise. Excellent CPL with the Barbados Royals. Before that, good 100 with Welsh Fire. Dale, we could see him at some point, you think, along with Liam Livingston. Those two are the leading 6 hitters in 2020.
Absolutely. You know, Glenn Phillips has been around the world now. Every time I look and he's at the CPL, I'm like, is it another year? And they love him there, you know, and he's a bit of a Steve Smith lookalike, and yet he hits the ball super long and pretty big. And these guys will be chomping at the bit, you know, hoping that they can get an opportunity, because the IPL really is the highest competition. It's the highest league out there, you know, other than international cricket. And Glenn Phillips, a young man playing for New Zealand, he will love to get an opportunity with these last couple games.
And we'd love to see these guys show that sort of form in foreign leagues here. Liam Livingston's had 1 knock at 4, went cheaply while opening. You think that's what he's waiting for, Aakash, like a big IPL innings?
See, absolutely, because like Dale said, this is the best T20 league in the world, and with a big auction round the corner, this is where you add $100,000, $200,000 to your next contract, and we've seen people doing really well elsewhere, but coming here and failing. So we don't really trust till we actually see it. So you believe what you see, and this is what you would expect, that the international numbers, or since Jan 2020, when you see 35 average, 150 strike rate, that is where that average needs to go up. If it does, just add another $100,000 to his contract. There will be quite a few teams who would be looking forward to get somebody like him. But yes, he needs to score. Otherwise, reputations, this team has matured, and this is the best bit, that reputations, they cost for pressure, they cost for like precious little when it comes to the selections.
Absolutely. Well, let's see how things go. Pick up the chat at halftime with Aakash Chopra and Dale Steyn. Gentlemen, thank you very much. Join us then after the Rajasthan Royals innings has completed on Maruti Suzuki Presents ESPN Cricinfo T20 Timeout.
We call it people technology.